Heyo everyone, and welcome to the premiere of our new series, Build and Battle, where we will build a gorgeous medieval city while battling off bandits, brigands, and no-good doers. Like many others, Manor Lords has been chilling out in my wish list on Steam for goodness knows, a year, maybe even more, and now we can finally start playing since early access has been released. For those who are watching today's premiere, I did want to just jump in right away and say, if you are coming over from our City Skylines to Let's Play, don't worry. We're going to continue to build Pine Harbor County over in City Skylines. I have no intentions of stopping that series. We're just going to do our best to multitask the two of them. So let's briefly talk about what Season 1 is going to entail. Obviously, this is going to be a Let's Play series, but this will be a blind Let's Play since I have currently 0 hours of this game played. My only experience with this game is watching YouTube videos from other creators such as Navarius and City Planner Plays. So I have a basic idea of the game, but that is it. So really, what does that mean? Well, it means I have just about as much experience playing this game as many of you. So there will be chaos, there will be havoc, and there will be a lot of shenanigans. Okay, so without further delay, let's jump right on in and start laying out a tentative plan to our first medieval city. So I actually kind of expected to run into a loading screen here, and I didn't. That's kind of cool. Anyway, so the first thing we get to select is our character's icons and customize our banner. So I am going to pick this character right here in the green dress. From what I've seen, choosing your character is aesthetic more than it is mechanical, so I'm kind of just picking the character I think represents me the best. Now, the coat of arms can get super in-depth and customizable. Not only do we get to play around with different symbols, but we also get to choose different coat of arms, different colors, and different background patterns. So let's come on in and play around a little bit until we find a banner that we like the best. Okay, so this is a little basic, but I think it should be okay for now. Decided to go with the squirrel because, like I said, this is going to be my first time ever playing this, so we're going to have a bit of a squirreled brain for a little while. Now, the game will eventually have 3 different versions that we can play here. The first one is Rise to Prosperity, which is kind of sounding more like a bit of a free play, in my opinion. So a lot less combat to pretty much probably no combat and just city building. Restoring the Peace, which is kind of like a medium balance, I think, between combat and building a city. And then On the Edge, which is the game basically coming out to annihilate us. I think for this one, we're going to just stick with Restoring the Peace. Now, there are some more customizable settings over here, but for now, I think we're just going to work with the standard default mode. So we could turn around and change our end goal between, growth, domination, conquest, etc. Same with off-map adversaries, AI aggressiveness, starting season. I mean, could you imagine playing a game On the Edge? You start in the middle of winter, so you have no supplies, and you set the AI aggressiveness to aggressive. That'd be murder. Kind of actually sounds fun. Eventually, we'll probably, like I said, want to run all of these 3 scenarios, but for now, let's stick with just Restoring the Peace on default mode. We only have an early access map for now, but the fact that there is a drop-down makes me really, like wicked excited that we could have more maps down the line. So yeah, let's jump on in and begin generating up the plans to the first city. All right, so here we are in our first territory. And to my understanding, the game will spawn your first settlement in a random territory each time you begin a new game, which I honestly really love because that's going to make the game feel fresh and new each time you start a new settlement. So if we scroll out a little bit here, this is our territory here. Now, before we begin drawing in some of the initial plans, I did want to take a moment and remind everyone that we are a growing channel. So if you're excited to play some Manor Lords, consider subscribing below and leaving a comment about your thoughts on the game thus far. And if you are enjoying today's premiere, hit that like button so YouTube knows to recommend our videos to you again. And yeah, just thank you. Okay, so I just want to take a really quick second to kind of read this new message. All right, victory condition dominance. Build up your town, your manor, and when ready, press claims towards regions owned by your opponents. Once a claim has been pressed, be ready for battle. All right, well, yep, I'm down to conquering the world. Sounds pretty fun. Call me Empress Nala. Yeah, I'm already having way too much fun with this. All right, so let's get back to our initial planning. All right, so right away we have our King's Road running right along here and up here. And it's basically the arterial road of this game, in my opinion, as it connects the different territories together. Now, vehicular traffic isn't really an issue to my knowledge in this game. I don't think pedestrians will necessarily clog up the streets and disrupt our industry chains. However, I do think, I don't think we can build on the roads itself. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you can't place a building facing the road to my knowledge. We'll have to experiment a little bit. Even if we can, I probably still won't build directly on the King's Roads. Because I'm going to use the arterial road and follow that good old road hierarchy, just like we do in our City Skylines 2 Let's Plays. Now, these are also the resources we will have to start out with. So we have iron, stone, a very rich deposit of berries, which is going to be so handy, like super handy. Same with a rich deposit of wild animals. And we also have a clay deposit. These resources are going to be a part of our production chain of sorts. So I'm going to want to make sure to leave enough space for these areas to utilize a production chain. This way, we can have, extractors basically coming out. It's called a forager's hut, but an extractor coming and getting the berries, and then some processing buildings along the way. That way the citizens don't have to travel too far. All right, so let's zoom on in and start talking about some of our priorities for our first production chains. So lumber is a wicked important resource when we are starting out, as wood is what we need to build houses and production buildings. And something I love about this game is that we can just cut down the forests and use a building called the Forester's Hut to regrow the forest. So we could chop these trees and grow them back in. I think this is also a really good opportunity to create some decorating. So, for instance, if we really wanted to, we could chop this entire forest and replant it over here. Don't know why you would do that, but we have the power to do so. Anywho, so food sources are also a wicked important resource, as the game's mechanic is surviving the winter months. So, and feeding a city and growing a city, and you can't do that without food. So right away, we're really lucky that we have a rich deposit of wild animals and berries. And yeah, that was just so darn lucky. I wasn't expecting that. I was prepared to start our first episode, episode 1, trying to figure out some farmlands and didn't mean to do that, and things like that. But we already are just off to a great start having these two available to us, and we will probably prioritize then parts of episode 1 into starting the production chains for harvesting the berries and hunting some wild animals. And all of this leads us into our market, sort of downtown area. I'm thinking we should build it on a water vein, which is something we will need for our citizens. We have to provide them a well so that they can get water. And I also want to keep our downtown on low fertility. So that way we're not infringing on space for future farmland. We don't have to start the downtown where our game begins, so I want to take advantage of that and I want to leave a big market area. So as we level up our houses to level 3, we can upgrade them into artesian buildings and kind of shops. So we can make this wicked cool, like what's the words I'm looking for? This downtown shopping area where houses and mixed zoning kind of circle around this open air market. So let's kind of take a look here at what we've got. I think to start, I want to leave this area up here for the Manor's house. The Manor Lord's house. Our mansion, where we shall reside and sit on top of our hill overlooking all the people working for us. Probably not being paid very well for it either. Anywho, so I want to leave this area up here probably for the mansion, and I want to come in and kind of take a look at the different overlays. So if we come into construction, we have all of our overlays over here. So first we have underground water, and these water veins we need. This is what we have to place the well on to be able to draw water and, keep our citizens hydrate. Because if they don't hydrate, it's a dehydrate situation. And lame jokes continuously to the side. We have quite a few. Whoop! Gotta get used to that. We have a lot of different veins that we could kind of build on. So zooming in a little bit here, we have a little bit of a crossroad off the King's Road here and here. I don't think it's a bad idea for us to actually just start downtown right here. It kind of honestly makes sense, in my opinion. I want to be careful of infringing on the berry deposit. But yeah, I think right here should be pretty okay. We could also build right down here. Let's zoom in here and take a look at this stone deposit. Yeah, I think eventually this would end up fading out a little bit. Like, I don't think this is a renewable resource, so eventually that would probably get gobbled up. So we could honestly pull out a road this way and connect it here and maybe put some housing right here with the backside to the King's Road, and then build our marketplace here, and then the Manor's Lord up here. Let's take a look at our fertility before we go too far into that thought. So there are multiple types of fertility: emmer, flax, barley, and rye. So if we click into emmer, again, I have to start a counting how many times I do that in this series. Emmer has a high fertility here, here, and here. I'm going to admit, I'm not actually sure what emmer is and what it produces. So that is going to be an adventure. I don't know if it's a crop you can eat, a crop you can turn into clothing. Yeah, I really don't know. Never heard of emmer before. Or if I have, maybe I call it by a different word. Anywho, let's go on to flax. Flax is crap. Everything is yellow, orange, and red. So really we have no flax fertility at all. How about barley? Can we? Yeah. Not great barley fertility either. So that might be something we either have to deal with low fertility for or trade in so we can provide a beer to the good citizens of our area. Which, speaking of our area, if there is a name you want or you suggest, let me know down in the comments. We'll rename, and what I'm thinking we'll do is, for those who are similar to the setup over at City Sky on our City Skylines Let's Play, basically what I do is if you have a name, put it down in the comments, and if you're reading the comments and you found a name you like, give that comment a thumbs up. I literally um organize the comments so that the suggestions with the most thumbs up, with the most likes, end up actually kind of going up to the top. So please make sure you scroll through all of them so you can really see them. But if you liked it, that's kind of like a voting system. That way we can all decide on names, etc. Kind of as a community. Anyway, so let's look at rye fertility. Rye is better. So, again, good here, here, and here. So rye and emmer kind of play off each other here. Kind of like that. We could put the farm out here. We have a clay deposit. Though I kind of like this spot over here. All right, sorry about that. Squirrel brain was running really hard trying to think about what it wants to do. So I think we'll put the manor mansion up here. We can probably put some farmland down here, over here. And I think we will designate this area right here where the King's Roads connect as our main downtown, because that to me makes the most sense, because this King's Road, we zoom out, or once I did that intentionally. If we zoom out, this King's Road connects to a neighboring province, which eventually we are going to conquer, especially because I want that iron deposit, and a trade route, and up here to this little territory, which also has a very rich clay deposit, which I want. So I think doing downtown right here will be good. And again, I think we could probably just build a road up here, kind of square this off, turn this into like a marketplace, and kind of just build out from there. I want to double check that water vein, make sure it's... Oopsies. There we go. Cool. Yeah, so we could put the water vein right in here. Get some water to our citizens. I think that'd work out really well, actually. Alrighty, everyone. I think that, for the most part, that kind of wraps up episode 0, pre-planning our series and our medieval city. And I want to thank everyone for joining me today in today's premiere for Manor Lords. My plan is to upload a new Manor Lords episode every Monday, so I hope you consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and joining us on this upcoming Monday for episode 1, where we will lay out the first marketplace, lumber industry, food industry, and some housing. As for the City Skylines 2 content, we will continue to post every week, typically on Thursday. So please be sure to check that out if you are new to the channel. And until next time, as always, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.